The Senate has debunked allegations of routinely disregarding bills passed by the House of Representatives. Senate Leader Opeyemi Bamidele described the claims as misleading, citing recent examples of bills processed in the national interest. Senate President Godswill Akpabio also emphasized the chamber's diligence and cooperation. The response comes amid tensions with the House of Representatives, which delayed consideration of a Senate bill due to perceived lack of reciprocity, sparking a debate on interchamber dynamics and legislative cooperation. The Senate maintains it prioritizes bills serving the national interest while fulfilling its constitutional role. For more on this development, we're joined now by lawyer and public affairs analyst Liborous Oshoma. Thank you very much for obliging us tonight. Let's start with your response to what is going on between the houses. The Senate has said no, that the House of Representatives, they're getting it wrong. In the past week alone, we handled 6 bills. So what is at the heart of this row?
Yeah, thank you. And I think the House of Rep, is right to have drawn the Senate attention to lack of reciprocity on their part. And immediately the House of Rep did that. You saw that the Senate is so much in a hurry now to attend to those bills that, need the concurrence of the Senate. Attending to those bills, and then they got to 140 outstanding bills. It's not, I don't think those bills were actually given a priority to. What I perceive happened is an oversight. The bills keep coming and then you just keep them on one end, believing that since, both chambers, have an understanding, so certainly you attend to them someday. And then they just pile up. But I think that the Senate and the House of Reps should have a committee. Just like you have committee on oversight on everything, there should be a committee on the inter-house relationship. Not just leave the job to the, normal staff and committee clerks of both chambers. There should actually be a committee of House of Rep and senators, on inter-chambers relationship, so that as this bill keep coming, then they can have, an opportunity to harmonize and give time frame for actually dealing with them. But in the past couple of days, we've seen the Senate, the moment the House of Rep, raised the issue, or just before the issue was raised, we've seen the Senate every day take, I think the first day they took 6, the next day they took 4 or 5 or so, and then yesterday they took about 4.
Yeah, I would want to jump in and say, perhaps the fact that they are now responding to these bills might be the end to the drama. But before I ask you that, talk to us about this principle of reciprocity. The leader of the Senate, that's Opeyemi Bamidele, said that they have a principle of reciprocity that governs their operations. But he highlighted that this does not necessarily mean garbage in, garbage out. Talk to us about this principle of reciprocity and his choice of words, garbage in, garbage out, meaning that if the House of Representatives have gone through a bill, they might not have gotten everything correctly.
Yeah, see, let's starting from the word garbage in, garbage out, you have to go through a bill before you call it a piece of garbage. I think that word was not the appropriate word for the Senate leader. You don't keep a bill that you had not even looked at. If it would be a different matter if the Senate had said they had looked at this bill and the proper thing were not done, and so they are referring them back. And that's why you now begin to talk about, okay, yes, there is garbage, and so you take it out without actually doing what the needful. But in this case, 140 bills, from the House of Rep, not considered at all, not looked at. So you can't be talking about garbage at that stage. And then law of reciprocity. What the House of Reps simply said was, since we have a law of reciprocity, since you have refused to reciprocate what we are doing, you send bill to us, we attend to them timelessly. We send bill to you that need your attention, and then the bill are piling up. So we're not going to attend to your bills until you attend to ours. We are going to reciprocate in equal measures. And so the moment the House of Rep decided to reciprocate in equal measures, we saw how the Senate had decided now to quickly, wake up to their responsibility, and they are also timely reciprocating by attending to those bills. And like I said, in 3 days, we've seen them attend to about 15 bills, and if they continue like this, in 2 weeks, they should be able to clear all the outstanding.
So should we say this is just a minor misunderstanding that with this action of the Senate has been resolved?
Very minor issue. And I know that because of the law of reciprocity that they both have and the robust relationship between both chambers, there was need for the House of Rep to raise it, and that they are dealing with it, and just a matter of days it will be dealt with. It is really not something that we should, have sleepless night over.
All right, but let me just play the devil's advocate here, asking this final question. If this impasse were to remain unresolved, what could have been the implications? As a cautious tale, actually. It will not be unresolved. Like I said, steps have been taken already to resolve it by attending to those bills. But if it's unresolved, then there will be problem, because what it means is that there are so many laws that require the concurrence of both chambers, and those laws will suffer. But unfortunately, they are attending to them now, and so we would believe that, like I said, very minor issue, and they will be resolved. The both chambers have more, important issues to deal with, and it's like just waking up your partner to their responsibility to say, because we are friends, does not mean you should neglect, your duty or your responsibility. Yeah, well, you call it minor, but you call it minor, but there are people who would say that it shouldn't have gotten to the press if it's a minor issue between brothers. But that's for another time. Thank you very much for speaking with us.